Right now on the National Weather Desk, here comes Milton. The powerful hurricane could be the strongest to hit Tampa in more than a century.
A larger wind field means a bigger storm surge and a whole lot more rain as well.
As millions are evacuating, others are emptying store shelves, hoping to ride out the storm.
They're basically out here to get more sandbags to try to protect what little they have left.
You'll see what it was like to fly into the eye of the storm on a Hurricane Hunter plane.
Yeah!
Plus the continuing cleanup from Hurricane Helene.
Cut the trees down to get to their people's houses, deliver medication.
And what you need to know about flood insurance, even if you don't live in a flood zone.
Don't assume that if you don't have flood insurance, FEMA will pay for a full rebuild for free.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Janae Bowens. Now, Hurricane Milton is a monster of a storm. A short time ago, its winds decreased slightly to 145 miles per hour. By tomorrow night, those winds will be lashing Florida's Gulf Coast. But perhaps more dangerous and deadly will be life-threatening storm surge. You can see Milton's well-defined eye in this high-resolution satellite image. And thanks to the warm waters in the Gulf of Mexico, Milton grew from a tropical storm to a Category 5 hurricane in less than 24 hours. It's the third fastest rapidly intensifying storm on record. Only Wilma in 2005 and Felix in 2007 gained more strength in such a short time. All is quiet this morning along Florida's Gulf beaches, but that will quickly change tomorrow when many could see one of the biggest storm surges in memory. We are tracking Milton from all angles this morning, starting with meteorologist Avery Tomasco.
Here is the latest satellite loop. It's starting to intensify once again. I think Hurricane Hunter's en route to see what's going on in the storm, but for now it is a strong Category 4 storm. 155 mile per hour winds after reaching 180 mile per hour winds yesterday. Yeah, it's looking healthy as we speak. I think this will be a Category 5 before long, if not in the next couple of hours. Later this morning, probably. From there, it weakens, as mentioned, but it will still be a major hurricane at landfall. And even though it's a 3 and not a 5, as mentioned, the wind field is going to expand as it approaches the Tampa Bay area. So it's really not going to change the fortunes for our friends in Florida. A larger wind field means a bigger storm surge and a whole lot more rain as well. Water is the #1 killer of any tropical cyclone, and there's going to be water coming from all directions, the ocean and from the sky for Tampa. And the rest of Florida, for that matter, is also going to feel some hurricane-like impacts even through Thursday morning. Sunrise is still just off the east coast of Florida. Peak wind speeds shown here from our in-house computer model. There's landfall, perhaps, hopefully not, but likely right in Tampa Bay. They're going to see wind gusts over 100 miles per hour most likely. Even the east side of Florida feeling wind gusts over 60 miles per hour. A lot of inland flooding rainfall also expected. 5, 10, 15 inches not out of the question. That's going to be catastrophic by itself.
Now, millions of Floridians are on the move trying to get out of Milton's way. Highways leading out of Tampa have been jammed as people seek higher ground away from the storm surge. Tampa's airport is now closed until the storm passes. Orlando's airport will suspend operations tomorrow morning. Gas is hard to find and store shelves are empty as people who are staying are buying up supplies. And most school districts are closed. Danny Travis is in Tampa with more on the urgent preparations.
The line for sandbags at this distribution site in Hillsborough County was hours long. County Parks and Rec officials say they've seen hundreds of people come through Monday, and they expect Tuesday will only be busier. Officials also tell us they literally ran out of pre-filled sandbags after Helene, so things are much slower this time around.
There's been a lot of people out here that we, saw 2 weeks ago. We asked them how they did. They lost pretty much everything in their home, and they're basically out here to get more sandbags to try to protect what little they have left.
It's really stressful, but safety of our families and the community is the most important thing. So just trying to contribute however we can.
I really feel bad for everyone who was impacted by Helene. I am very worried naturally and praying the best, but I'm trying my best to stay calm and as positive as I can be.
Closer into the city, flood barriers have already gone up around Tampa General Hospital. The hospital sits at the corner of Davis Island, surrounded by the water in Hillsborough Bay, which is a flood-prone area. The effects of Hurricane Milton will be felt all across Central and South Florida, so no matter where you are, now is the time to get prepared and check your hurricane kit. That should include non-perishable food items, lots of water, medicine if you have any, and batteries. And of course, keep a close eye on Hurricane Milton's track as it's expected to make landfall on Wednesday. Reporting in Tampa, I'm Danny Travis.
So many front yards and sidewalks on the barrier islands here in Sarasota, Manatee, and Pinellas counties are junkyards. What was inside these houses is now outside, and Florida's governor is pushing for what he calls an expedited cleanup effort so all of this debris doesn't end up in the air.
It was in this. That's full of water right there.
Or in the water. But there's just so much of it. I'm seeing the storm surge came up to here. I mean, that's what, 3-4 feet?
Yeah.
Judy Heath will not find out what happens to her house or her debris pile. She's taking what's important and what survived.
That was my grandson's wedding.
Like these precious wedding pictures and leaving again.
Those people just stopped by and they said, we'll take it away for a fee, but then everybody else has got theirs out here, City was going to take it, but they can't now with this storm coming.
Right now, Milton is lashing Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula with strong winds and heavy rain. There's already flooding in some coastal areas. People are also posting pictures on social media showing significant damage, including to homes. It will move away from the coast throughout the day. Now, this is just a small sample of the turbulence NOAA hurricane hunters felt when they flew into Milton's eye. Several flights went into the eye yesterday. One veteran pilot says it's the strongest storm he's ever flown in. NOAA gathers data to help improve forecasts and bolster hurricane research. Now, NOAA recently announced that they would be replacing the 50-year-old planes they've been using to fly into hurricanes with 2 brand new aircraft. Emily Gracie spoke to a hurricane hunter to find out about this new generation of flying laboratories.
So the P3s, they've been doing amazing service for us these past years, almost 50 years. But the P3, nobody's making them anymore, and not many people are flying them anymore, right? So the cost benefit analysis of these, maintaining these amazing platforms is that they're becoming rarer and rarer. They're already, 2 unique, one-of-a-kind aircraft based on all the instruments they have on them that were built specifically for NOAA. It's sort of like a vintage car, right? It gets really expensive when you need to do that oil change or, tire change or get a new engine. So that's why we're moving to the C-130s. It made more sense. And we're working using our 50 years of knowledge, working with the P3s, continuing to update the instrumentation to build that in to the new C-130s we're getting, as well as working with academic research institutions, other parts of NOAA to make sure that they have the room or the facilities to expand upon the research we've already done, right? So it's going to be very exciting once we get these C-130Js in to see the amount and different types of data they're able to collect, not just in hurricanes, but to support all the other missions we do with these aircraft.
What's the crew going to look like? Is that going to change at all?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, we are working to continue to have researchers, crew members on board. I mean, while we're maybe working to automate the drop zones, so it's not as much by hand, there's still, uncrewed aircraft systems. We are still going to need crewed aircraft going into hurricanes in the future.
Any thoughts on what the new aircraft are going to be named, or is that something that's going to come in time? Are we going with the same theme? I am sort of
sworn to secrecy on that. Yeah, I can't say.
A press release in the future, I guess.
Yeah, a press release in the future. We are still going to be honoring the Muppet heritage, so yes. I can at least say that. That's about Wonderful. As far as I can go.
Now, to hear more about the capabilities of the new Hurricane Hunters aircraft, make sure you check out this week's episode of our podcast, Off the Radar. You'll also hear from one of the flight engineers about his experience flying through Helene a couple weeks ago. Find Off the Radar anywhere you listen to podcasts, including on our YouTube channel. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, even as folks prepare for Milton, many are still cleaning up from Helene. And we'll look at an RV park being built with hurricanes in mind.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with Look at the Northeast. We have a nice looking day on tap in the Northeast today. We're starting in the 40s. Afternoon temperatures, they'll make a run at the low 60s. A few spots maybe in the mid to upper 60s. But Tuesday's a nice day. Now, as we go into our Wednesday, this big sprawling upper low will dive south out of Quebec and into Ontario as well. And that will work its way into northern New England. This is 2 o'clock in the afternoon Wednesday. Look for a few more clouds to develop with a chance for a few scattered showers. We'll keep that trend into Thursday.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Things are going to be nice and quiet here. We had a front go by, and now it is just beautiful weather all across the region, as we will not be seeing any weather makers coming anytime soon. So few clouds, lots of sunshine. The temperatures will be cooler, and the humidity will be lower as well. We'll start out in the 40s, likely getting up to around the 70-degree mark, except for the mountains will only reach the 60s. Again, some chilly temperatures overnight in the 40s, but we'll be looking at 70s in the afternoon on Wednesday.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Charlotte Carl. Here is a look at your high temperatures for the afternoon, mostly mid and upper 70s. We have some areas down in Florida creeping into the 80s. We are tracking Milton. There will be lots of showers across the Florida Peninsula ahead of Milton's approach throughout your Tuesday. Overnight Wednesday, we'll start to see those feeder bands from Milton impact the Florida Peninsula, even parts of South Georgia. And then we're tracking Milton's landfall as early as Wednesday evening, as late as overnight into Thursday.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Cleanup from Hurricane Helene continues. At least 232 deaths across 6 states are blamed on the storm. Now, the second deadliest hurricane to strike the United States mainland in 50 years. Less than 200,000 homes and businesses are without power. Some of the hardest hit areas are rural communities that are difficult, if not impossible, to access for first responders. To reach these areas, rescuers are using horses and mules. Jakai Spikes reports.
Cajun Navy's been here since Saturday, and we have been going to people's houses, packing food in.
This is Steve Burtnett and his mule Champion, navigating roads in North Carolina where cars can't reach. With the Cajun Navy, Burtnett left Cleveland to go to some of the North Carolina areas Helene hit the hardest.
In Marshall, North Carolina, the whole town on the river's gone. We carry chainsaws, cut the trees down to get to their people's houses, deliver medication. We do a lot of recon where we go out and we try to find out what people need so we can get it to them. So it's been like crazy rewarding.
Burtnett says that he wanted to find a place to help while putting his mule and horses to good use. After a day and a half, he finally got his answer.
Finally got hold of the Cajun Navy 2016. And the Cajun Navy is just a wonderful organization made up of people really from Louisiana, but really from all across the South and the United States.
In one case, Burtnett and his partner Kat got to one flood victim on horseback that no one else had been able to reach.
Sheriff's Patrol officer drove up to us and said, "Hey, listen, we have an older gentleman that's on top of a mountain. We can't get to him. We need you now." We cut about 30 trees and made it to this gentleman's house.
There are lots of misconceptions that come with purchasing flood insurance. And how do you know if flood insurance is right for you? It comes down to a few factors. Mike Owen has more.
Take this map of Garden City, for example, showing the 3 flood zones. V is the most likely to flood, marked in dark purple, followed by A, marked in light purple. X in tan is the least likely to flood, but that doesn't mean it won't.
It's the least likely to flood compared to Zone A and Zone B. so I think that's part of the problem. But lenders don't require flood insurance in that flood zone. But in the last, I'd say 6 years, it's about 50% of all the flooding damage.
There are also many options for flood insurance. You can choose between a FEMA-backed policy, which is capped at $250,000, or a private insurer, which can provide up to a full replacement cost for your home, depending on your policy. But the most important thing to know is that you do have options.
I prefer the private side just because I know it's more comprehensive. But I think at this point, any kind of flood protection is better than none. So I'll give them both options, tell them what the difference is, and then let them choose based on the correct information.
There are also misconceptions about what flood insurance exactly covers. Flood insurance covers any kind of ground-level flooding that comes from the outside.
So it could be tidal surge, heavy ponding, flash flooding. Mud flow is actually part of the flood definition. If your roof is ripped off or penetrated and water gets in that way, that falls under the homeowner's policy.
Also, don't assume that if you don't have flood insurance, FEMA will pay for a full rebuild for free. It's important to know while they may help, it might mean taking out a loan.
It's a SBA loan. So you take the loan and then you're required to carry flood insurance for the life of the loan.
Vitter tells me the average policy she sees runs between $400 and $700, and that you should get flood insurance if you can't afford the cost of a rebuild.
Now, mobile homes and RVs aren't strong enough to protect you from hurricanes, but with so many people trying to find affordable homes, RV life is increasing in popularity. Meteorologist Chicago Windler takes us to an RV park built with weather in mind.
RVers are some of the most vulnerable populations when it comes to storms, but this brand new RV park in Smithville is hoping to build in a sense of security.
We took a pretty big hit on Hurricane Harvey, so there's a lot of practice out here. Hurricanes, tornadoes, I think we get it all in Texas.
Steve Simmons is the owner of Centennial Creekside RV Park. He said he designed it to be as weather resilient as possible.
I literally designed the building as I went because of the weather, to keep the heat out and the cool in, and to also at the same time, when I built the bathrooms, I wanted some place for people to have the security of being able to go to if there was a storm.
Construction is underway on the community center where the bathrooms are built to serve as storm shelters. So this would be the safest place here, right?
Absolutely. The walls, as you can see, are 8 inches thick. They've got concrete, there's reinforcement bar in here. The doors that will be here will be metal doors. That will be also tied to the cinder block, which is solid.
My dissertation was focused on the needs, the challenges, the opportunities of tornado sheltering and whether we needed more public and private tornado shelters, and the answer appears to be yes.
Dr. Craig Cece created a website called findyourtornadoshelter.com.
A good example is in like RV parks and mobile homes. We need hardened locations to make sure that the occupants are safe during a tornado.
Simmons says he's not only building for safety, but also for uninterrupted communication.
Starlink being based in Bastrop now, we decided to put Starlink in, number one, because it's satellite, so you don't have to worry about lines going down. All of the electric infrastructure and everything is underground here, so we don't have to worry about poles going down. And we're actually even going to incorporate a generator so that if the power does go out, that we'll still have Starlink, we'll still have internet, we'll still have electric capabilities. Spending a little bit more money so it lasts longer, but also at the same time, making it safer.
For the National Weather Desk, I'm Chicago Windler.
Now, a recent video from the Seattle area shows an otter chasing a startled family moments after the animal dragged a child underwater. It's serving as a warning that although these animals look cute, we still need to remember they are wild. Paul Rivera picks up the story.
Newly released video shared by the Port of Bremerton shows a river otter on the chase, going after a family at the marina. Look closely here. You can see the mom and kids running down the dock. The otter hops out of the water right behind him. It's chasing after him.
Aggressive little guy.
Yeah. Shock and surprise from those who watched the video at the marina.
Well, it pulled the kid under, but the kid was okay.
Yeah, they got the kid out. This happened the morning of September 12th while the child and its mother were walking down the dock. Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife officials said the otter grabbed the child and pulled it underwater. After a few moments, the child resurfaced and the mother managed to pull the child out while the otter continued to attack.
I had not realized that otters could be dangerous.
The kid was taken to the hospital with scratches and bites to the head, face, and legs. In another video, you can see the otter back on the dock, lurking around, even after the family had left the spot.
We actually have a dock on Puget Sound, and we have otters come by all the time, but we've never heard or seen anything like that.
Fish and Wildlife officials said an otter was captured and sent for testing. They said the animal tested negative for rabies. While attacks like this are rare, officials say otters can be territorial and unpredictable.
Stay away from otters.
Yeah, if I was a mom, I'd be concerned.
And time now for a short break, but first, we soar over Bel Air, Michigan.
Well, good Tuesday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buckmichael. Temperatures warming up a couple of degrees more across a lot of the Midwest for the day today, but we've got almost wall-to-wall sunshine for the entire Midwest. High pressure parked right over top of us for today. Same for tomorrow. Temperatures again slowly warming up. A lot of 70s, 80s, and some 60s near the Great Lakes. By the time that we get to your Thursday, even seeing more 80s across the area.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. Here's a look at your regional weather. We're starting off pretty nice back up to Little Rock and back over to Shreveport into the 50s this morning. Warm and almost humid all the way down toward Brownsville into the 70s. A very weak cold front will be pushing through the area today. Won't bring much in the way of rain, but will bring dry air to the region. So that means we're warming back up again to summer type levels across most of Texas. It'll be cooler to the north and east. I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. That's a look at your regional weather.
Well, hi there, everybody, and a good Tuesday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. The Bay Area continues to cool off from that weekend hot spell. Instead of 100 degrees, back down to a more seasonable and reasonable 71 near the Golden Gate Bridge. Back to 107 in Phoenix. We've had so much hot weather there for months on end in the Valley of the Sun. No reason to change it up quite yet, but a reason to get the raincoats ready today around Seattle and the Washington and Oregon coastline as the next round of showers comes through. And that's the scene from here.
The National Weather Desk.
Leaves change colors every fall, but do you understand the science behind the color change? Meteorologist Lindsay Storrs explained in a recent Instagram post. Let's take a look.
It happens every year at this time. The leaves start to change from green to oranges and reds and yellows. But do you know the science behind how this color change happens each fall? Leaves contain an ingredient called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is what gives the leaf its green color. But in the fall, the lower sun angle and the cooler temps indicate to the chlorophyll that it needs to start breaking down. Once the chlorophyll breaks down, the other chemicals in the plant can start to show off their colors. The main chemical in the leaf determines the color that leaf turns. Brighter fall colors are more likely when late summer is dry and early autumn has sunny days and cool, but not freezing nights. The fall colors are peaking in northern Utah's mountains right now, so make sure if you want to see them, you get up there soon.
Looking for more weather content? Check us out on social media. You can find us on all of your favorite platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Janae Bowens. We leave you with shots of the northern lights from Michigan last night. Make it a great Tuesday, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.